What's in a trim anyway? Well, if you are a Volkswagen Jetta and you are the Autobahn trim, you have some performance enhancements, but some very, very cool styling touches in what is already a really fun car to drive. And in this case, we have a 2-liter turbocharged engine with all kinds of good things on it, including a bewildering, I'm telling you, a mind-boggling array of traction assistance systems that are designed mostly for helping you corner on dry pavement. But I've discovered it's also pretty good in the snow because that's what we have here, and which is very German. And the Autobahn is also a very German place, and this is a very Volkswagen-y Volkswagen. Are you interested? Stay with us. We're going for a ride. As much as people are trying to kill them off, the compact sedan lives, and it also is a whoa. I'm falling on the snow. Don't mind me. It also is an absolute favorite for performance enthusiasts because not only is it a small, lightweight, compact vehicle, it really lends itself to a lot of modifications, and there's so much aftermarket stuff you can get for them. But they're also basically one of the most affordable cars you can get out there. And it may not have quite the utility of a SUV, and in the case of the Jetta, it does not come with all-wheel drive. This Autobahn has front-wheel drive. But it's more than anything else, it reminds us of what we had cars like Jettas for to begin with, which was performance in a very compact package that lends itself to driving pleasure. Do we remember that? I mean, we have all kinds of electronics now to take the driver out of the picture and let the car do everything. Well, this does have some electronic aids, there's no question about it, but it's primarily designed for people that actually like driving their car. I know, incredible, right? So we have a 105-inch wheelbase on this little car. And we have, as mentioned before, we have a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, which we will go into depth in just a minute because it's kind of cool. And we also have all kinds of sport suspension mods and traction control mods. And even in this case, you have a choice of 2 different transmissions. You have a 6-speed manual you can get, or what we have on this one, which is a 7-speed automatic, which is a direct shift type of transmission. If you're familiar with those, it's a double clutch kind of thing, and it's much more the advancements they've made with these automatics that use this type of technology and this kind of engineering mean that they pretty much get as good a mileage and sometimes better than a manual transmission. And they're also really well suited to performance driving. And I love the fact that Volkswagen still gives you a choice. And you know what else they still give you? They give you a trunk. A marvelous thing is a trunk. Many things are marvelous in life, but a trunk is one of those things that is underappreciated because everybody wants a hatch, or so they believe. And a trunk is a beautiful thing for stowing your stuff because you can make it pretty secure. I'm walking around. I'm basically on the frozen tundra here, trying not to fall down, hoping that my little gimbal will gimbalize and keep me fairly stable here. Oh. But look at this color. This is called Monterey Blue, by the way. And with the accents that you get from the Autobahn. And Mr. Lewis. Hello, Mr. Lewis. Yep, you got to have your cat inspecting the vehicle. What they're doing is they're inspecting for any kind of rodents, because rodents are bad in the country. They're destroying cars daily. They're tearing out wiring. harnesses and everything. Beware the rodents, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, with all these little accents you get with the Autobahn trim, inside and out, by the way, you're going to like the interior of this car. As does Mr. Lewis. He is showing to you the really interesting red trim that goes on the lower valence. And he is also looking to make sure there are no rodents inside this car. And he's a real tiger when it comes to the rodentia. He'll take them down. But the one quick thing I need to tell you about the Jetta family is the Jetta family, you have the Jetta and then you have the Jetta GLI, which the Autobahn is one of the GLI versions. And the GLI version has the larger engine. It has the 2-liter. Mr. Lewis. And the 2-liter has got some real punch in it. They've done a lot of things with the turbocharging. And you got to remember something. Volkswagen has been turbocharging forever, for a very, very long time, and they're very experienced at it. And as a result, they get a lot of power out of a small package. Want to see what I'm talking about? Let's look under the bonnet and examine it carefully. As Mr. Lewis continues his inspection, he's a good cat. He always inspects the new cars for us. We have our 2-liter TSI inline, transversely mounted, powerhouse, if you will. This little guy. Something that fascinates me, by the way, about Volkswagen is every time I seem to get a new one as far as year models goes, there's a little bit of a modification in terms of engine covers. And I think they're happy with this one because they removed it for a while completely, and then they used a kind of an abbreviated version of an engine cover, and now they've got this one, and this one looks nice. I don't know what's going on with that, other than they're just trying to look at the best combination of heat distribution as far as getting the heat off the block and into the atmosphere to help cool the car, plus to quiet down the engine, because this particular engine is being a TSI. TSI is a really interesting system, as I understand it, and God knows if it's changed, because if you'll go on the interwebs, you'll get all these different explanations. They say basically it is a gasoline direct injection engine. However, it is my understanding that it also has port fuel injection. And that is the best of both worlds. And apparently the way Volkswagen does it is a little bit different than everybody else. When I say Volkswagen, I'm talking Audi as well. But this way you get the benefits of direct fuel injection, which is increased power, increased fuel economy. But the problem with direct injection, as you all know, since the fuel is going directly into the cylinder and bypassing the valves tend to accumulate carbon over time. And so, but if you have port fuel injection also, and it shoots some fuel through there from time to time, that helps keep that clean. But there's a lot of other advantages and disadvantages to both systems. So if you have both systems, the car can opt for whatever is better for your particular power requirements, emissions, all that kind of stuff, fuel economy. So that's what we got going with that. Before I give you a quick tour of the engine, I'm going to give you some numbers here. We have a 228 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, and our torques are 258 pounds of feet at a lowly 1,700 RPM. So a very nice situation as far as getting a whole lot of power out of a 2-liter engine. Now, as mentioned before, you can get a 6-speed manual, but this has the 7-speed dual clutch direct shift automatic transmission, which has paddle shifters for your manual operation, as is de rigueur these days. And so let's look around here a little bit. Here is a huge air box, and next to it is our huge 12-volt battery. You got to have a lot of battery power these days because there's so much electrical stuff on these cars. And this does have the auto stop-start system to help save you fuel at stops. There's a huge debate that's been going on since auto stop-start came out about, well, it's bad for the engine and it's reducing the life of the engine. I haven't seen any definitive proof of that anywhere. The engineers actually kind of know what they're doing. But people just, they'll talk out their bottoms and just say all kinds of stuff. So as of right now, I see no definitive proof that it does anything other than help reduce fuel consumption. That's basically what it does. The hybrids are especially good because they don't have to use a system like this. Usually uses a just a heavy duty starter motor, and the starter motor is what cranks the thing off after it shuts itself down at a light or something like that. But the hybrids use a part of their electric drive system, which is much more efficient at starting the engine, and I think it's easier that, in other words, what I'm saying is the only thing you might wear out is possibly the starter might wear out earlier, although I haven't seen that. Doesn't mean it's not happening, this fact that I haven't seen it, but there you go. So I just wanted to put that out there because and you can, by the way, I haven't driven a car ever that you can't turn it off if you don't like it. So do what you will. Okay, from our air cleaner here, we go down this tube right here, and here is our turbocharging array right here in between the firewall and the block of the engine. This is also where, of course, we have our exhaust manifold down there, and then the air is compressed by the exhaust turns the wheel, which turns an impeller, which compresses the air and heats it up in the process of compressing it, all the way up to 36 psi on this engine. Holy mock, that's a lot. But then we go down, and there's an intercool system, which I believe is in the front. Here we go, cam shadow. Down in there, we have in our radiator array, there is an intercooler, and the intercooler cools down the now compressed air mixture, and then it goes into our fuel injection system, which is our direct and our port. If I understand the TSI system, things get changed on me all the time, and they don't call me and tell me. But as far as I know, it still uses elements of both direct injection and port fuel injection. So there you go. What else do we have? We have this is almost Hyundai-esque, this beautiful stabilization system to help take the vibration out of the inline four-cylinder engine. Because they can be buzzy things, but all the manufacturers have gone to great trouble to get rid of that buzziness. Because as you probably realize, four-cylinders are becoming more and more common. After being replaced for years by V6s and things like that, they have now gone to the most common engines out there, I think, overall, for most manufacturers, are turbocharged four-cylinder inlines. So what do you think about that? I don't know. I'm beginning to realize that they've done an awful lot of good engineering as far as making them seem not like a four-cylinder, but maybe a small V6 in terms of power delivery, because the turbocharging, as I mentioned before, that Volkswagen's been doing this for a long time, and they are really good at getting that thing spinning up at a very low RPM. And with the turbocharging on this car, like I said, 1700 is your torque peak, 1700 RPM, which is quite good. So there you go. So here's our coolant, and right here, and here's where we put our oil in, and here is our, yes, dipstick. What is the oil? 0W20, one of the most common oils there is. That is like across the board becoming, I think, the most regular type of oil viscosity that you're encountering these days. And doesn't have one of those lowered viscosities, but as a lot of oil experts have pointed out, there's nothing wrong with those lower viscosities. The biggest thing I've heard is the spread between the low and high values of the viscosity. In other words, 0.20, that's 20 points, right? But if you have like a 5W30 that somebody is touting and saying, said Toyota is shifting to that, which I haven't seen, but that spreads it out to 25 parts in between the low and the high viscosity rating of the oil. And that, to me, I've heard that makes a big difference in terms of whether or not the oil maintains its stability over higher mileage accumulation. Bottom line, change your oil with the right stuff, whatever the car asks for, every 5,000 miles, and be happy. And use factory filters, by the way. I'm a big believer in that myself. But just get it done every 5,000, get that oil changed. Here is our our washer fluid, which is, you know, it gets sucked dry in the wintertime like nobody's business because you're constantly dealing with a dirty windshield. So anyway, with our 7-speed automatic direct shift transmission, here is your 2-liter TSI Volkswagen Jetta GLI Autobahn power plant. Do 25, 45, R18. Thus is the tire size, and we have some nice Hancooks on here that are all-season tires. So far, they've done pretty good, but they haven't really been tested yet. We got more snow coming this weekend, and I'll be testing out this front-wheel drive vehicle in that snow and see how it does with these OEM tires. But look at the size of the rotors and the brake caliper. Enormous on this thing. This thing is a performance car. It's built to go, 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 baby. Autobahn. You know what I'm saying? Fly low. It is a very solid looking machine. I'll say that for it. And I like the fact that everything seems to be fortified for performance driving. No question about it. 18-inch wheels, like I said, and isn't that beautiful? It's not really a star. It's more like a starfish, or maybe a brittle star. If you know your aquatic animals, which I actually do. But we have a system of breakage here that will definitely haul you down if you're going at Autobahn speeds, which I don't recommend in America because that would be illegal just about anywhere. But it's nice to see they're trying to live up to the name of the Autobahn. The Autobahn, of course, is a highway system in Germany that has basically a very, very, very high speed limit. It doesn't have no speed limit at all. People have said that for years, but it's really not true. There is a speed limit. There is a thing within reason. And they will pull you over and say, 10 fingers on the fender, and, you know, do all that stuff that cops do worldwide. Like I said before, we have a 105-inch wheelbase. And what are we going to get out of that rear seat? You look at it right now, you look at the size of the door, and you say, well, what we don't have is the compromise that SUVs have, and they have to figure out how much they want to devote to pure cargo space under the hatch and rear passenger space. A sedan like this, I think you can do a little bit better, and I'm expecting good things out of that rear seat when we get back there, because this is a compact car, but it's not a weeny little thing. It's actually a pretty decent sized vehicle. As you can see, and we got this beautiful fastback roof line coming down here. No spoiler, really. There's a little bit of a lip on the trunk lid there, but it doesn't actually have a spoiler, which is kind of surprising, just because I know my Volkswagen. Now look there. Power? No. It's springs. It just pops open. It might as well be power, but it doesn't have to be. Isn't that great? Look at all this space we have in here. This is, what is this, 14? I believe it's 14 cubic feet. You have your 60/40 fold-down seats right there. The finish is not, it's kind of the cheapy kind of stuff. Incidentally, here's our look at that, I can do this and push that, and then it'll fold forward. Not instantly, but it does. There we go. Do you hear that? That is the, I have now deployed it, and you can fold it forward and increase your cargo space tremendously. But anyway, this is not the best of the best in terms of how rear trunk areas are finished, because you have to go to a luxury level car for that. But I love it because, lift this up, and we have a temporary spare tire, so you can continue on your way if you have a flat, which I think is great. One thing I don't see right off the bat, it's because I can't see. Ah, there's our jack. Beautiful, beautiful. Do we have one of those tow hook things on here? I may need it in the snow. Maybe it's there. I'll find it. I'll get it out one way or the other. I may not need it. Who knows? It'll do great. But you have a pretty generous size opening here for your trunk, and you got a lot of room in there for your cargo. So as many people as you can put in here, I think you can get most of their luggage as well. It's very nicely designed in that regard. You know what else is interesting about the design of the Jetta these days is I really like the subtlety of it. It has a you got your enormous Volkswagen symbol there, which is, it's not that enormous, but everything is tucked in as far as the tail lights and everything else. It's a real nice looking thing, and naturally you have your brutally aggressive dual exhaust ports, even though it's just a little 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, but you know, you get to do that. See, you know, I think the law is if it's over 200 horsepower, then you get for 100, every 100 horsepower, you can put a pipe out. I think that's what they do. Well, maybe not. But anyhow, the more I've had this car, the more I've really been enjoying it, because it's just a real pleasure to drive. And Volkswagen is not asleep at the wheel at all. They're constantly tweaking things on these. And the fact that they even still bring us the Jetta, I am so happy about, because sedans, compact sedans, you can talk about your compact SUVs, and they are popular because they are versatile, but there's something special about a 4-door compact sedan, especially this one.
Welcome to the 2026 Volkswagen Digital Cockpit. Well, I tell you, it's a very attractive unit. And it is digital. Even though we have beautiful analog going on around here. Let me go over to my main car. Where's car? There's car. Vehicle status. I'm looking through here to try to figure out, because there's a way to do everything on this digital cockpit. Now then, classic. Here we go. Okay, this is classic, which I have selected, and here's view number 1. See, that's a little bit different. You've got a different style of, we have 330 miles left on this tank, and I've already gone 55 miles, so good range. It's very frugal, this thing. I think the miles per gallon I'm getting is, I'll give you a final number at a point later, but I think I'm getting real close to 30 right in. And this is at the worst time of year for fuel economy, by the way, because it's so cold and there's snow out there. But it's doing very well on the fuel economy front, very decently. Now here's view 2. View 2, there we go. Since start 0 miles, since start 4 minutes, I guess. But anyway, classic for me. I kind of like the classic thing. On the left side, you have your gear selection, and on your right side, you have your speedometer in both analog and digital forms. Then you got on the far right here, you got your remaining fuel, also known as the fuel tank. We haven't used much fuel, even though I've been 55 miles. 55 miles is good considering the way the weather's been, because this car's had to sit for a few days just because the snow was very deep. On our left-hand side, we have our temperature. So we have that. Then if we go down over, where is it? Where's the thing? Here it is. We can go, using this, we can go, that's what will give us our adaptive cruise control status. This will give us a compass, and as the car is now pointing almost due west, well, it's south-southwest actually. This is a station I have sent 91.7 WHUS stores. Great, I got to send them some money. They're a great college station. Apple CarPlay is activated, and AT&T is my what? I pay them? I don't like them. Oh well. Anyway. Engine stop currently not available. Driver's seat belt is unbuckled. Oh, I guess you can't have the engine stop. Well, I'm not buckling up to sit here and talk to you. So anyway, but there's that. What's this here? This is trip. We can get, look at all the other things we can do. We can do oil temperature, which is not registering yet. It's so cold. It's not that cold. Matter of fact, it's 41 degrees. That's balmy for the way it has. I mean, that's mind-bogglingly good. How about economy? Right now, that's also 0 because we're not going anywhere. All right, fine. Overview. Oh, look, we've gone 0 miles in 6 minutes And what else do we have here? 0 average miles per. Well, you can figure all that. Range is 330 miles. Speed is 0. Oil temperature. There we go. So that's that menu. And what's this view? What is it? Ooh! I've taken things away. Now I'm putting them back gradually, it appears. But as you can see, there are many variations for you to enjoy on your digital cockpit speedometer cluster. So there you go. What else do we have? We do not have on this particular model, which is the Autobahn, as it is equipped, does not have a navigation system. It does have access to both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, though. And they're assuming, I guess, that you'll get your navigation off of that. I don't know if it's an option you can easily get for this machine. It also doesn't have, let's see, Bluetooth, a Volkswagen Premium audio system with subwoofer. It does sound good too, I must say. Wireless and USB Apple Connect smartphone integration for compatible, and QI wireless charging. We'll show you that in a minute. But no, there is no, it does not have a navigation system, so I don't know if you can get one either. There's got to be, right? I mean, I know we're going in, everybody's going in this direction, especially it seems like on the European side, where they want you to do everything through your smartphone. And I don't like doing that at all. I do that as little as possible personally, because I don't like the car. It's just another place for the car to have your information. And we don't know who they're sharing it with. They'll look in the fine print, they'll say, oh, we're not sharing it with anybody. But yet, I don't think I trust anybody when it comes to that stuff. That's just me. But anyway, further on with our control cluster area, we have on the steering wheel, the left side is our cruise area. And we have, if you press this button here, you get adaptive cruise control. And if you hit it twice, you get IQ Drive, which is travel assistant traveling, which basically is your adaptive cruise control with a lane centering program, which you will see in action very shortly. What else we have over here? We have, of course, this is our following distance for our adaptive cruise control and resume set, all this wonderful stuff. Here's your volume for your radio. Out here, I'll turn it up for a second. There's disc jockey on WHUS Stores, Connecticut. I like that. I like that station a lot. And then on the right side, this is when you want to talk to the car. And this is what I was doing earlier as far as going through some of the sub-menus. Oh, I forgot this was here. I could have used this yesterday when it was much colder. Here's your heated steering wheel right there. And this is the view I was playing with earlier that was doing all this stuff. And there it goes back to where I want it. So this is your going back and forth in your presets. And this car does not have satellite radio I don't think it has satellite radio capability, to tell you the truth. Again, they're just assuming, I guess, you're going to stream through one of the streaming services. It's amazing how the advancement of technology limits the amount of choices you have. Like, I have a vehicle that's old enough, I still have a CD player, and I listen to CDs all the time. I like them. I like listening to a CD. I like having the album experience. And it works fine, even though the vehicle's 12 years old, it still works great. Works like new, it's not a problem. But you don't have that choice anymore. You have no more media. Everything media-wise you have to get is through electronic media, through your smartphone or satellite radio, which is the closest thing to me to being analogous to terrestrial radio. And cars still come with AM and FM, which is good. But things are changing as far as your options in terms of, and I know if you have like Sirius XM and you have the app that comes with your membership, you can do all kinds of things and listen to a million different things. Or you can use, like with Apple, you can put the music thing on through CarPlay and you have streaming that way. But I'm not always the streamer because I don't always have perfect reception up here. You got to have good internet reception for any of this to work. So it's worth thinking about. In terms of the aesthetics of the instrument cluster, I do think it's great, though. It's really, really super clear. And we've now enjoyed, incidentally, something I need to talk about. This is, of course, this particular Volkswagen is a GLI version. And the GLI, as opposed to the regular Jetta, I think is night and day bigger and better. In terms of bigger, it has a bigger engine in it. It has more power, and has a lot of power. In this case, 227 horsepower, I believe. And it also has a sport suspension. And it's, how much of that is part of the Autobahn package, I'm not sure. But just in general, the GLI version of the Jetta is much more sporting. I think handling is better. The ride quality is actually very good. It's pretty firm, but that's all in keeping with the handling aspect of the car, which is very good. So what else? What else do we have? Way over here, here's our lighting. We have multiple selections with our lighting. I leave it on automatic like 99% of the world does. Because it works just fine. Then we can migrate over to our center screen, which, believe it or not, this is only about 8 inches, but it's a real good size for this interior, in my opinion. It's also mounted nice and low, so you don't have any interference with your front visibility. And some of these screens on some of these cars come way up here, and they can actually obscure your front view just a little bit. Not a problem for most of the time, but it could be in certain circumstances with small children or dogs in front of, and naturally we have other things on the car that's supposed to tell you these when there's a problem. But there you go. This is our main, we'll go to our menu here, and as you can see, you have all your standard stuff. Vehicularly speaking, that's where I just was. Settings, and you have tires. I think you can, what, can you adjust your tire pressure monitoring? Yep, that's what that is for, to adjust your tire pressure monitoring system. Lights, parking, and maneuvering. You have a little bit of ambient lighting adjustment you can make. Depends on the driving mode selections. So what are our driving modes, by the way? Where our mode button is right down here, right there. So we have Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sport, and Custom. So you have quite a few settings there, which is interesting. But the ambient light, where it's set right now, will reflect that. And naturally, let's have some fun here. In our instrument cluster, what do you think happens when we go to Sport? Red. It's always red. Always. Custom is note the settings. There's just, here we go, we'll adjust. The dynamic, that what they basically call their stability system is the DCC system, which is set on normal. Steering can be on normal or sport. I just put it on sport. Drivetrain, normal, and sport, and eco, and all this other stuff. So you can choose and pick in the custom mode if you so desire. All right, now how do I get back so I can adjust my, there we go. This is the eco mode, sort of a greenish thing. This is the wait a minute. Hang on. Sport is red, thank you. Custom is blue. Eco is sort of green. I'd call that kind of a taupe. It's more of a turquoise, actually. Comfort is yellow. Why? Who knows? Somebody decided that's the way it should be. And what else do we have? We have, that's it. So you have all these mode settings, and it ties into other things, even going all the way down to your ambient situation. So we'll hit that, and then we'll go back here. And parking and maneuvering. Now, what do we have? Rear traffic alert is active. I don't think I have any more parking sensors on this thing. It's amazing how much this car doesn't have on it. Really surprises me quite a bit. You don't have, like I said, there is no satellite radio on this thing. There is no navigation system on this thing. It'll save you money, but the fact is, in my opinion anyway, this thing's not all that cheap for a compact. It's What I'm trying to say is, I think for the same amount of money in some of the competition, you can get a lot more stuff. It's not necessarily going to have the performance this does, because this thing weighing in at 3,300 pounds, I believe it is, 3,318 and 228. I shorted it a horsepower earlier at 5,000 RPM, and then the torque is 258 at 1,700, since this is a turbocharged engine. So there's a lot of competition in the class that doesn't have this kind of power. So, you know, you get some and you lose some, apparently, when you go with the Volkswagen, because there's things it doesn't have and things it does have. So let's go to media. No playable files are available. Trying to go back to just a general menu. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. So naturally you have all your other standard adjustments, very easy to access for the most part. They're still delivering some good switchgear in terms of having dedicated seat heat, seat ventilation. Seat ventilation is actually pretty nice to have on a car in this class. In the compact class, you don't always see that, which is kind of great. But you have an automatic climate system, which they have a real great name for it. It's called Climatronic Touch Dial Zone Automatic Climate Control. That's what that is right there. Oops, get that reflect. Boy, talk about reflections. Geez, there's your climate, and you can do your 2 different zones here. Yeah, I put it back on automatic. I thought it was on automatic. Huh. So the question is, we go up with this one. Now it's linked together, so we're like having one zone. And I'm not sure how you separate those two, or if you can. But both sides do have their own individual dedicated heating and ventilation for the seats. And the seats are very comfortable, by the way. They are made of leather. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, this is really exciting. This is Grigio and Titan Black leather interior. Nice, huh? Let me get this out of the way so you can enjoy. Good side bolsters for aggressive handling and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, pretty straightforward, pretty standardized. Is the only thing we have standardized on cars these days is the climate control, and that's changing all the time, because more and more manufacturers are taking a dedicated area like this and sticking it up in the center screen, which I really don't like, because it requires further steps and more distraction in order to make adjustments. And it's like they're not thinking. All these manufacturers are doing this. The number one complaint I come across from people is that the fact that the interface with the human being, with all the touchscreen stuff and everything else, is just annoying, because it's not as straightforward as it used to be when you just had dedicated switches. So, will the manufacturers listen to that? Some will, some won't. We'll see what happens in the next 2 or 3 years, because that's going to be I think it's going to be very formative about which direction they're going to go in. I'll just leave it at that, because I have opinions about that, but I don't have it backed up with solid evidence yet. So, but I think a lot of them are jumping ahead and trying to turn your car into one big laptop, and not a good idea for a car. A good idea for a laptop computer, yeah, but not for a car. All right, here's our USB-Cs right here. 2 of them, very easily accessible. Right down here we have our QI charger for your smartphone, if you have that capability of wireless charging. Parking brake is here. Engine start is down here instead of being up there. That's not unusual for Volkswagen at all. We have a nice mechanical shifter, and if you want to go into your manual modes, we have both the paddle shifters, right, and here, and you can also use the stick. There's drive and neutral, and then we go over here, one, and it would let me shift if it wanted to let me shift. It's not going to let me shift right now. See, manual 1, and then we can go back to drive right there. But it has a nice mechanical feel to it, very straightforward. It will take you zero time to adapt to it. There's nothing funky going on, like some kind of knob or twisty thing or something like that. And it's interesting to me because Volkswagen has been playing with just a little nubbin of a shifter that's just about this tall, and you just flip it back and forth, and it's kind of weird. It's okay. But on this 2026 Jetta, we've gone to a more conventional situation. So we have all these blanks over here of things that are available, I guess, on other vehicles. The Autobahn does not go there. The Autobahn is a driving experience. It is about going fast and stopping quickly and handling well. So well, you don't need all that. That's what they're saying to me anyway. Here's our engine auto start stop. You can override if you want it, if you don't like that, for whatever reason that you don't want it. I know there's a lot of people that say it's damaging engines and ruining engines, and I haven't seen any solid evidence of that at all. It's a great fodder for YouTube stations to get clickbait stuff to talk about, but there's not a whole lot of solid evidence to back up the fact that it hurts anything. The only thing it might do, and this is an early adoption thing, was it could wear out starters faster, but a vehicle like this has a nice heavy-duty starter to deal with that. And if you get a hybrid, it probably doesn't have a starter at all. It probably uses the big electric motor to start the engine, so that's moot. Well, how's our glove box? Look at the size of this. You can get all kinds of good stuff in here, including the owner's manual, but you could absolutely get well, you could almost fit a laptop in there, but you could definitely get a tablet computer in there to haul around with you if you so desire. As I went over these seats before, they're very, very comfortable, and they're very leather. And here in our, look at that. This is something smart that you don't see very often. They have bothered to actually put a light-colored lining inside the console so you can see it better. We also have another USB-C back there. But it's fairly deep and fairly roomy. And you can actually see stuff easier because it's not black like 99% of them are. That's clever. Here we have your cup holders. Nothing fancy, not adjustabilities or anything like that. They're just holes that you put your drink in. And I have no quarrel with that. What else? Up top, we have a very nice sunroom with a manual shade, and it's not completely opaque. Oops, I just dropped my hat. Oh dear, oh dear. Here's SOS if you're I believe there's a subscription involved with that. Same thing, you can contact for repairs or whatever, information. Here we have our adjustment for our lighting. We have some very nice map lights up here, and let's open this up since it's so warm outside. This is actually a very generously sized moonroof. And it goes that far. Can we go further? No, that's as far as she goes. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, well, it's not surprising because the roof on this vehicle is not that big because it's a compact. Look at this very nice wind deflector right here. It bounces up and down like this in order to fit the thing back in here, which we're going to do now. Whee! Watch it drop, watch it drop. Yo! Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, there we go. So I think that covers our front. Now the big question we always ask amongst our compact brethren is how much room we have in that back seat for your passengers. You've seen the trunk, and we have a room. I know, I'm getting out. Ugh. Snow everywhere. Let's see here. It's about 85 degrees opening. It's probably going to turn the engine off on me, and that's going to upset me. Or is it just telling me that it's going to? Now, the front seat is fairly far back, and we have a very decent amount of leg and foot room and headroom. Nice. I have zero quarrel with that. There's good room back here. This seat has a very nice lumbar component to it, so for your lower back. So if you're back here for a long time, I don't think you're going to complain much because it seems very comfortable. Now, the rear windows, however, only go down about 65%. That's a bit odd, but that's the way it is. Okay, fair enough. Dog friendly, because that way your dog won't be able to jump out as easily. That's, you know, I'm trying to be positive here. Here we have a pretty good sized drive shaft tunnel. So this is kind of a 2+2 situation. I wouldn't want to put 3 people back here. You could, but this person in the middle would have to splay their legs. Some people don't like to splay. They find splaying unpleasant. And we don't want them to go through that. Now, it looks like both of my lights are on here. Yeah, they were. I wonder why. Is everything shut? Everything's shut. Why aren't, I don't understand why that light is still on. All the doors are shut. All the doors are shut. I don't know why it's doing that. Well, anyway, you have individual map lights, but for reasons that are well beyond my understanding, it seems like this dome light's just going to stay on. What am I doing wrong? I don't know. Well, anyway, you have map lights that are so dedicated to their task, they just stay on, apparently. Well, I don't know. How's our armrest? Very nice. 2 little cup holders. Well, that's a really small cup holder right there. Pretty good. Pretty good angle, pretty good height. I must have a door open somewhere, but then the front lights would be on too, wouldn't they? So why in the world are those rear lights on? That's going to drive me crazy. Things do from time to time. It doesn't take a lot to drive me crazy. Maybe if I sat in the front and put my seatbelt on, those lights would go off. Anyway, furthermore, there is no easily accessed, dedicated rear USB-C ports that I can see. There is one in the back of here, but and there's also no, oh, here we go. Yeah, here's a little very comfortable thing for your tablet computer or your magazine or whatever right there. A little pouch, if you will. But the leg room and knee room and foot room is pretty good for a compact car. I have no complaints in that regard. The only thing is, like this huge tunnel. Now figure this out. This is a 2-wheel drive vehicle, and to the best of my knowledge, maybe there is an all-wheel drive performance version of this car. That's possible. But man, that is a huge drive shaft tunnel for no drive shaft at all. So I don't know what they run down through there, but that's a mystery right up there with these lights that won't turn off. Well, I think the best thing for us to do now is I'm going to go back up front and mess around with the doors and things and see if I can figure out how to turn this off. I may hit something up there. That's probably, when I was messing around with the moonroof, I probably screwed something up. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, it's a very attractive interior, and it's very fitting to the Autobahn name because it's kind of performance and all business oriented. There's not too much in the way of bells and whistles, and it's fairly straightforward. You do have some things that are dedicated onto the center touchscreen, but otherwise it's pretty good. But no navigation system, no satellite radio, so that's the bad. You know, I could swear this has a satellite radio antenna on the back of it too, so I may be missing something. Ask your dealer. That's my response to any questions you might have like that. Just ask your dealer. All right, here we go. Snow test. This driveway is actually manageable at the moment. After not being manageable for days, because we had this snow and then it stopped and it got okay. It was manageable, and then we got another 4 inches, and that really kind of screwed stuff up. But you know what? We're getting out of here. Outside temperature 39 degrees. So There we go. You turn the wheels, you see. That's how you do it. That's how you get the thing out of there. So we're free! Free! Boy, and look at how much salt they're still putting on the roads. You know, they can't stop. There's some kind of thing going on where there's stuff in cahoots. Now, what's that rattling noise? Ah, and something else that happened. Hey, man, have you seen my other thermos? Because that's my good one, and I lost it. And this one's all rattly. I tell you, that's one of the bad things about getting a lot of snow is you drop things, and they vanish. And you're not going to see them until like April. Till all the snow melts, because it's amazing at obscuring things. So I ain't gonna worry about this thing. I ain't gonna worry about it. The other people worry about it, I ain't gonna worry about it. I think it's going to be fine. And if it isn't fine, well, you know, what are you gonna do? So, a little bit of wind noise, a little bit of road noise, but certainly not bad. This is one of the entry levels, this particular vehicle. What's our price again on this? Our price is made in Mexico. It's like $35. Kind of steep, in my opinion. But the Autobahn package is a nice one. I will give it that, because it's very nice trim levels. And what we have up front, incidentally, this is a front-wheel drive car, and it has so many different kinds of limited slip situations and locking differential clutches and all kinds of stuff. That's all primarily designed for high-speed driving on good pavement. But it works. It does work. And it is beneficial, of benefit, to people that are, I'm going to have to pull out my thing here. For people that are inclined to drive in an aggressive manner, that was the mainstay of Jetta owners for years. They were always known as being crazy people. like smaller BMW drivers. They would just always drive like mad people because they could. When in the case of BMW, the cars have always been, going back to the first time I ever drove one, which was literally back in the 70s, late 70s. They're so much quieter than so many other cars that you don't realize how fast you're going until you glance down at the speedometer and you go, wait a minute, I'm going 80. I thought I was going 40. And there you go. Incidentally, I apologize for this thing in the windshield. I haven't been able to take that off. I tried a little bit, but I just didn't have time. I have no idea what that was. It was some kind of a stuck-on sticker of some sort. No idea. Just like I was all ready to, if necessary in the deep snow, to pull this thing out using the recovery hook, that recovery ring that it has. It screws into the front of them. Most vehicles have these, by the way, nowadays. If it doesn't have real recovery hooks, like some kind of a truck or SUV, it has these hooks that's all part of your flat repair kit or your flat changing kit that just screws in. There's a panel that pops loose in the front, very easy to find, very easy to do. You just poke it and it comes out on this car. And then you screw in the ring and you have a direct tie-in to a good solid part of the unibody so that you can pull the vehicle along if necessary. It's also, although they don't yet like to use them much, the guys, if they have to tow your vehicle and they're using a flatbed, they can also screw that in and pull it up the back. But they usually have big hooks that they just wrap around the lower part of the front suspension. Typically the lower A-arm, and pull it up that way. But for people, when you get a little stuck in the snow or the mud or something like that, this is a very helpful thing to have. Well, this car the one that belongs to this car is gone. I have no idea where it is. I inquired about where it was. I got no answer whatsoever. So, you know, I'm a bit miffed about that, because if I did need to pull it out, it was going to be a lot more difficult than it would have been otherwise. So, but anyway, remember that you have that if you have a vehicle, a modern vehicle, unibody vehicle, because most of them do have that little tie-in thing, and that's very, very helpful. Very helpful, I must say. All right, now I'm gonna take his telephone and I'm gonna come on now, come on. There we are. So I have this, and through this, I can turn this on, turn the volume down to nothing, and go here, and there we are. Using Apple CarPlay, I have now used the mapping known as WAS to navigate myself. And also, the thing I love about this is you can enter in when there is a hazard of sorts, like a car broke down in the breakdown lane, as they call it in some places, or if you have construction that's popped up and closing the lane. All these different things that help you know if there's a speed trap with a bunch of gendarmes sitting there trying to give you a ticket. It will tell you in advance, because you can share with the other drivers what's going on out there, which is a very, very real-time useful feature that I highly recommend for those of you out there. Very helpful. What else do we like? Well, one of the things I love about this screen is it's unusually low for a lot of vehicles these days, but it's beautiful because it does not in any way obscure your visibility out front. The visibility out of this car is not too awfully bad. And you also have a good backup camera. This doesn't have the 360-degree cameras on it, unfortunately, which surprises me. It's a shame, too, because the quality of the image, the camera image on the backup camera, at least, is excellent. And I'm sure if it had all the 360 cameras in it, that and the fact that I look at the price, and it seems to me like it's a little steep price to not have something like that on here. But who knows what the current state of play is with it's 2026, February, in fact, and this car is built in Mexico. And is there some kind of tariff involved? Who knows? But something tells me that there may be some sort of a thing that the company is protecting itself by upping the price a little bit. I don't know. It's impossible to say nowadays. But I'll tell you right now, whenever you go out and you want to buy yourself a new vehicle from a car dealership, it's the easiest thing in the world to if you just decide what you're going to pay based on, do the most research you can in terms of finding out what the dealer's probably paying for the vehicle. There's a lot of different ways to do that. And they're making it harder and harder all the time because the dealers don't want you to know what they paid for the vehicle. But you put in your mind a fair price at what that is, and then add a little bit onto that for the dealer, like $1,000, $2,000, and already have your loan in place from a bank, so that you can literally just write the car dealership a check, finance it through the bank, don't finance it through the car dealership. That's my opinion. Even though, well, people say, oh, the interest rate is so much better at the car. Yeah, but the car dealership is much less likely to give you a good deal. If you come in and you're paying cash and you say, take it or leave it, you'd be surprised how many times they'll say no. And you'll be on your way out to the parking lot to leave, and they'll come up and catch up with you, and they'll come up with something silly, like, well, we'll give you this, we'll give you a 5-year free maintenance deal for another $200, and then we'll meet your price, or something. They want to save face, at least the salespeople do with their sales managers. So, but just take it or leave it. Never, ever, ever be even remotely hesitant to walk away from a deal that you feel like you're not getting a good deal. Food for thought. Now, we have had some real windy days, but the wind has calmed down quite a bit. And as a result, my usual crosswind test here is sort of moot. We don't have, and we had drifting snow for a few days here. All this snow that you see along the sides here, a good chunk of that ended up out in the road because of the crosswind. Just blew it right out into drifts, and that made a lot of cars uncomfortable that didn't have all-wheel drive and reasonable people behind at the helm. All right, now we shall get in to some driving. Got to be careful here because there is no verge, and if there's anybody out walking or bicycling or anything else, they're in great danger. There we go, huh? Like clockwork, I mentioned this. She's walking gingerly on that ice, as one does, who does not want to fall on their face or their backside. But this is a real good road for our little Jetta, because there's lots of fun little turns in it. And some of them have bumps in them, some of them are off camber. So you can just get a real sense about how the car handles. And I would think one of the reasons I make a big deal about the handling is because this is the kind of car designed to handle well. That's one of the drawing points. One of the attributes, if you will, is the fact that it really is designed to handle well, and it has all the necessary tools, including some very good. The tires, actually, they're not doing bad in the snow. They're not my first choice for the kind of weather we've been having, but for general driving, these are, I believe, Michelin Primacies. Am I right about that? And handles very well. I hope I'm right about that, because I've had a lot of vehicles that have had that tire on lately. It's a very popular tire, and it's a good tire. Excuse me. Woo, let's see how we do here. See? Sticks like a limpet. And I especially like the fact that it doesn't have a whole lot of power on tap, but it has enough to pull itself around corners like that very nicely. The way the torque steer, excuse me, not the torque steer, but the torque distribution at lower RPMs is not bad. Not bad at all. And is there, I ask, is there any turbo lag? Just a little bit at times. Wow, we actually have melting snow. Ha! Who knew? Look at how nice and dirty it is now from all the people driving through here. I have to tell you, this road can be punishing because it's got a lot of irregularities and frost heaves and all kinds of things in it, and cracks. But the road is not, the ride is nice on this stuff. It really does a nice job. And with this wonderful steering wheel, it's got this little thumb actuators. They actuate the nerves in your thumb that help stimulate your hands while you're driving. I just made all that up, but I like them. They make gripping the steering wheel very comfortable. Let's hit the brakes hard. Woo! See? Good brakes. Easy to modulate. See, I'm going over some really rough pavement now, and it's just absorbing it very nicely. It's still firm. It's still a firm suspension, but overall, it does well. Handles very nicely. Whee! I like it. I tell you, I was expecting a much harsher ride over this stuff on this particular stretch of road, and it's done a real nice job. Just goes to show you, until you do it, you don't know. You can make your assumptions based on past experiences. Ooh, somebody's got him a brand new Weber grill. Look at there, boy. They're going to be doing some serious grilling. I don't know if that's actually a grill. I don't know what that is. Genesis? Oh, that's a car make. Huh. Well, enjoy your Weber grill. Maybe, no, I think that is absolutely a Weber grill in that box. Happily going home to prepare culinary feast. You can really feel it in the steering, though. That's the thing. This is the first front-wheel drive only car I've had for a little while. And what was that Hyundai I had recently? Was that front-wheel drive only? No, it wasn't. I think it was all-wheel drive. Anyway, this thing, you can, because it has plenty of power, a hazard is, are they still doing construction up here? Apparently. My little friend thinks so. My little friend inside the radio box that guides me. And speaking of guidance, allow the Moroni to be your guide into what this thing costs. The 2026 Jetta GLI Autobahn has a base price of $33,745, and with options and stuff, $35,670 is your final price. So there we go. A fun little car. I got ridiculously good mileage. I got about 30 miles per gallon overall, and I was not driving in a ginger manner whatsoever, which is what this car is all about. It's not only just a good, economical, compact sedan, it's also fun to drive. And in so many ways is a real practical choice for an awful lot of people, especially with the craziness going on with the gas prices again. You never know. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. You be careful out there, and we will see you next time.
You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.